What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be discussing an upcoming Star Wars game that's kind of gone under the radar, if I'm going to be honest, with that being LEGO Star Wars Battles. Now, this is not to be confused with the LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga that's coming out later this year. This is a whole different game that has actually been in beta for around 18 months now, and for some reason it seems like it may just never truly release, which is definitely a little bit weird considering how finished the game actually seems. LEGO Star Wars Battles is a mobile game that is supposedly only out on Android right now, but it will be out on iOS, and this game is what you could consider to be a mix between Galaxy of Heroes with that sort of turn-based style game, where you build a team and try and make your way through each stage, but it also has a touch of tower defense in there as well, which definitely adds a nice bit of variety, and honestly, from what I've played of the game so far, it was a whole lot of fun, so I'm kind of confused why this project seems to be essentially stalled right now. The description for the game says, lead an army of LEGO Star Wars characters into real-time multiplayer PvP battles in arenas inspired by iconic locations from throughout the galaxy. Collect and upgrade characters and vehicles and craft both light and dark side armies to take into battle. Build LEGO towers on the battlefield to strategically combat, defend and capture territory as you push towards the enemy base to claim victory. This game is fully PvP, meaning you can go up against real players, and from what I can remember there is a sort of skill rating that you obviously gain points for when you win and lose points when you lose. This game is actually a really awesome mix of those few little genres that I mentioned. Essentially what happens within the game is that the game starts and you have to send out troops to take control of the battlefield. Lower level troops take less time to become available, however characters like Luke or Vader take much longer to spawn, so it sort of involves a lot of strategy in terms of knowing when you need to send out a group of low level clones or when to bide your time and send out a hero to be a little bit more deadly. As your characters move out onto the battlefield, they essentially take territory within the map, with there being 3/3 of the map that are up for the taking. If you send out your troopers and they manage to defeat any troopers that your enemy sent out, then they will continue to march forward, and then they can pass the halfway mark of the map, at which point that is now your own territory, meaning your characters will spawn there instead of right in your own spawn point. Now, with each piece of territory there are also areas that you can build towers, which can be anything from turbo lasers to flamethrower cannons, and they just help to sort of back up your troopers, essentially defending your territory for you. If the enemy takes them out though, they will gain back that piece of territory, and they can actually set up their own towers too, which you'll have to take out with your own troopers. Essentially, this battle for territory continues until one team pushes all the way to the end of the map and takes out the enemy's home base, and if they do so, they win the game. So in other words, it's almost like a reverse tug of war. Each team is just trying to push the other team back until they win. Now, on top of the actual gameplay, there is also a team building aspect of it too, similar to Galaxy of Heroes. You can actually build the team that you send out there onto the battlefield, one team for the dark side and one team for the light side, and there are currently over 40 different characters to collect, which is just done in a similar way to Galaxy of Heroes. You can create a full team of regular troopers that you can pump out really fast since they spawn quickly and flood the battlefield. You can mix in vehicles like AT-ATs, you can add heroes like Luke or Vader who take a long time to spawn, but obviously super powerful and can handle squads of enemies on their own. Overall, it does just give you a lot of freedom to try and build the team that you think is the best for taking control of the battlefield. Now, you might be wondering how the hell I've played the game when it's actually not out yet, and the answer for that is that it seems to be already out in certain countries, and although it doesn't actually say it anywhere, it is essentially just in its beta right now, like I mentioned earlier. The game actually released, at least in Australia anyway, on the 14th of October in 2019, which like I said is almost 18 months ago now. And when it was first announced, it was mentioned that the full release was meant to be in 2020, however we are obviously in 2021 now and there is still no news on the actual release date. An official post on the Star Wars website states the exact same thing too, saying that LEGO Star Wars Battles will be available in 2020 on the App Store and Google Play, which just adds even further to the confusion. Now obviously 2020 saw a crazy year with the whole COVID issue, and I'm going to assume that this is why the game hasn't been released yet. We saw a ton of games pushed back last year and a lot of those were AAA titles, so obviously that would make sense for a mobile game as well. The change in work dynamic is obviously going to affect the team's productivity, but I guess the fact that we haven't heard any official word is the part that really confuses me. Now with that being said, there is a website called GamePressure.com, which is apparently the only place on the entire internet where anyone has found an actual release date, and this site says March 2021, so it's not even a proper release date, it's just a month when it is supposedly launching. On top of that, I have no idea how reliable this site is and whether or not they actually have any sources or anything like that, and so as of right now I'm not really buying into it, as there's just no way to confirm whether or not this is in fact true. Like I mentioned, it is a little bit odd that we haven't heard anything official from TT Games, the company developing the game, who obviously also make the regular LEGO Star Wars games as well. You would think that even if it was delayed from COVID or something, that they would simply put out a statement saying it's pushed back until further notice or something, because leaving everyone in the dark for pretty much 18 months honestly makes it feel like this game is just never going to actually release, which would be a massive shame. The game is a lot of fun and has a hell of a lot of potential. It played smoothly, it looked great, and it was a nice change of pace from A Galaxy of Heroes, and so I am really hoping that these rumours of it being released in March are true, because I think it definitely deserves to see a worldwide launch, not only on Android but also on iOS. If you have played the game, then let me know what you think of it down below, and if you haven't played it, then let me know what your thoughts are on the gameplay that you have seen in this video. Personally, I've really enjoyed what I've played so far, and I really do hope the game eventually gets a worldwide launch date. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like down below, and if you are new, then consider subscribing to the channel with those notifications on. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Crush them! Make them suffer!